Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio Show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Yo, what's wrong with the beer we got?
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Aaron Williams.
And welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We are radio for the local craft beer movement, broadcasting here from our flagship studios at AM 920 The Answer in Buckhead, Atlanta. And I'm Aaron Williams.
And I'm Tim Dennis. And this week, it's time for us to hand out some awards, Aaron.
Woo!
It is our Best in Craft Beer 2016 one.
I am so excited about this. This
Me
is going to
too.
be awesome. We've asked you, our listeners, to vote on your favorite beers and beer-related awards in Georgia and Alabama. You know, we had almost 1,000 votes. That's crazy how many people voted. It was really awesome. So we've got the results, and we're going to share them to you later in the show. So, hello, Tim.
Aaron, how are you?
I'm doing great.
So we were off last week for the Christmas holidays.
Exactly.
And it feels like we've been gone for months.
Yes,
getting
definitely.
back in here. So how was your Christmas?
You know, Christmas was actually great. My wife got me a beer fridge. I've been desperately needing one. But when she got me a beer fridge for Christmas, she called me on the phone and she said, "Hey, honey, guess what? I got you a beer fridge for Christmas." And I'm like, "Awesome. All you need to do is pick it up and pay for it." Okay.
Wait a minute. Is that how gifts work there?
I guess so. I was like, I guess she got it off of Craigslist, but I had to go and pick it up. So thanks to my dad, we loaded it in his van and we got it in. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But yeah, so over the holidays, you know, we just had a nice family time. Cracked out some of my beers and some of my stash, including I had the Bourbon County coffee stout that I had. Shared that with my dad. I had a Modern Time City of the Dead, which is also a barrel aged porter. Actually kind of crushable for a bourbon barrel-aged porter.
Really?
See, I was surprised how easy that drank, and I drank the whole thing and didn't share with anybody. And also
crushed
finished it. I did.
It.
It was not pretty at the end, but then, you know, also to really completely throw a curveball into things, had a Creature Comforts Athena because it was in the fridge and I had to have one.
Yeah.
And
how are you feeling, Aaron?
Man, I feel better today.
Yeah?
But this week was awful for me. I had a kidney stone, and just here, a health PSA for anybody out there: never get a kidney stone.
Right, just pass.
It is the most painful thing I have ever experienced in my life, and I've had a concussion, I've blown out my knee, I've hurt my elbow, my shoulder, all this stuff. By far, that was the most painful thing I've ever experienced. I spent a good 6 hours in the ER Tuesday night into Wednesday, and got some really nice drugs, and I'm on the road to recovery. So
good,
yes.
good. I fortunately have never had the honor of that experience. I'm just gonna, I'll take everyone's word for it.
Yeah, just drink your water, do whatever I mean, you know, it was so bad. If the doctor tells me to give up beer, or you'll get more of these, I would give up beer. It was that bad.
I don't know. I just
start
drinking a lot of water.
There you go.
You know, be like, Doc, let's not get crazy with these treatments.
Exactly. You know, just switch to light beer now.
Yes,
right. So you had a pretty light week today,
I
right?
did.
Yeah.
So fairly light week. Christmas holidays, you know, busy. Had a bunch of family come over from Mississippi, and you know, so I just had a couple beers, drank some of my homebrew mead that I have.
Okay.
So shared that. Good holiday beverage. Blueberry Saison that I keep meaning to bring in to share. You haven't tried that one yet. And Grassroots Arctic Saison, one that I really enjoy. So open that one up. And I got a very cool Secret Santa beer box. And there were some beers in there from Inoculum Ale Works out of Florida.
Okay.
Which is one I've been wanting to try. Neat business model they have. So they're set up for e-commerce. That's their main method of distribution is e-commerce. And the one I've tried so far didn't do it for me, Aaron. It's called Bloodthirst.
All right.
And the description from the brewery said it tastes like blood. And so it's brewed with cherry and iron added to the beer.
Okay.
And it tastes like blood. Sour blood.
Yeah, I don't really see how that would be tasty.
The reviews from people on it, like on Untapped and that, there was a lot of one way or the other. So I guess we've got some vampires out there that just love that taste.
I was just going to say, you know.
Not for me, but I've got a couple more to try and some good ones. And my sister brought me over a very cool Mississippi beer sampler.
Oh, nice.
So we've got that. Got with some from, I believe it's pronounced Chandelure.
Yes.
We've chatted with them before.
Yeah, we have, yep.
Traded some messages with those guys. So I got some from them. Southern Prohibition, Yalabusha, some good Mississippi breweries for me to check out.
Very cool. Very cool. So that's awesome. So we had a pretty good week, I guess. But now we're going into the Truck and Taps beer of the week.
Crack open a cold one. It's the Truck and Tap Beer of the Week. Woo-hoo! Craft beer and food trucks in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com.
So we've got a couple of Truck and Tap beers of the week.
We
that
do.
We can talk about. Some that we want to keep a secret.
So
however.
I'll say this:
yes.
we'll crack some of these. So I tried to bring a sampler of some of our award winners, whether it be the specific beer, the brewery, or whatever, to bring those in for us to enjoy today. So we did a little pre-gaming with Red Hare's Berry Belgian Waffle beer, and we seemed divided a little bit on a pendulum on this one. So I got a definite blueberry. The blueberry reminded me of like the syrup, blueberry syrup from
I definitely got that too.
So that I got a waffly taste, a nice Belgian character to it, a little bitterness on the back end that dissipates quickly, not too sweet. This isn't a beer I could drink all the time, but for what it is, I really enjoyed this.
Okay, I think you probably liked it a little more than I did. I think Becky and I didn't like it as much. Becky Klein's in the studio with us too, by the way.
Becky, how you doing?
She's our quiet partner.
Good. How are you?
Good. Good.
There you go. So yeah, a little bit on the bitter side.
Right.
It wasn't what I expected, but still, it wasn't bad. So
interesting beer, right?
Yeah, definitely an interesting beer.
So we've got a good old Tropicalia here that
of course
that we enjoy. We have a Wild Heaven Ode to Mercy Special Winter Ale and a Jekyll Redneck Christmas Stout, and a couple others we'll mention as we get into the show.
That's exactly right, and you'll find out why coming up a little later in the show.
What's in the news? The beer guys have the scoop.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Time for headlines. Sponsored by Your Pie Perimeter in the Perimeter Place Shopping Center across from Perimeter Mall.
Got a couple more minutes, so I'll do some headlines coming up here the rest of this segment. Montgomery is getting a brand new beer place, Pies and Pints, opening this week in Montgomery. So if you're in that Alabama area, enjoy that. We also have...
is that a restaurant?
It's like a restaurant.
Pizza?
Yeah, very similar to our sponsors at Your Pie Perimeter.
Very cool.
So,
nice.
yeah, so but in Montgomery, Alabama, as opposed to Perimeter area in Atlanta. So, yeah, 2017, of course, it's right upon us. It's going to start tomorrow, if you can believe that. But, of course, everyone's trying to predict what's going on in the future. So the Brewers Association chief economist... I say that economist, yes. Bart Watson has tried to look at how beer trends and beer styles may develop in 2017. And basically what he's found, continued growth in the IPA and golden ale category. So you can basically just say that more than 5.1 million cases of IPA were added in 2016 among the craft beer industry. So he expects that market to go a lot further than it was before and continue to go. Also session ales as well, to kind of continue that growth as well. He also says the demise of independent brewers have been greatly exaggerated, as small and independent brewers still account for more than 80% of the new growth in scan this year, so in SKU numbers this year. And independent and craft brewers should look for growth opportunities in the Pilsner and Pale Lager categories. So yeah.
I want to chime in here because we're going to discuss some at the end of the show about that. And you know what? I'll save that for then, Aaron. Some of my predictions.
Yeah, I've got a couple of two, but it's interesting to see, and we kind of noticed that trend this year too. More drinking beers, that have come down the pike. So that's kind of fun. So Tim, are you a shampoo guy? Do you use shampoo?
I do use shampoo. I do indeed use shampoo.
You have no dreadlocks, so I figured that was the case.
Yes, I do.
I think we're all right. But they have apparently a craft beer shampoo that's come out now. It's called Brew, BROO, with two umlauts over the O's.
Okay.
So. Anyway, it's basically they claim that the malt and hops in beer is rich in proteins that help repair damaged hair and revive volume, while the sucrose and maltose sugars help create shine. And they also have a line of caffeinated products that help stimulate the scalp and hair follicles, which leads to healthier and longer hair for us.
You get everything you need, shampoo in your hair.
Exactly.
Hasn't it been a trend for a while to use shampoo or to use beer, like a beer rinse on your hair? Becky, do you...
I haven't heard of a beer rinse.
Okay.
I've heard of vinegar.
Mayonnaise, I've heard.
Mayonnaise, yeah. They did claim in an article that Catherine Zeta-Jones uses it to wash her hair.
There you go.
So she can't be wrong, apparently.
Never.
I don't know. Exactly. Yeah. So another interesting note here before we take a break. Long lines in craft beer. Have you stood in those big long lines for the whale releases before?
I have stood in lines, yes.
I've stood in some before, too, and it's kind of crazy. But this article comes from the main public broadcasting, and they talk about some of the lines that people have braved. And here it's not too bad. You go to Asheville, you go here in Atlanta, and at least it's not 20 degrees and, freezing outside with a big, huge wind chill. But in Portland, Maine, they said outside of Bissell Brothers recently, more than 300 people braved frigid temperatures to get their hand on a can of Swish, which is their double IPA. So those people, like you see these pictures of them, they're all kind of out there in the middle of Portland, Maine, with their chairs, kind of looking like the Black Friday thing. And again,
waiting.
About 20 degrees outside, and so it's a little bit crazy.
Got to make sure the hops are fresh.
You got to make sure the hops are fresh. That's exactly it. So we're going to take a break right now and head into the Best of Craft Beer Awards coming up in our next segment. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show, and we'll be back right after this.
Hi, this is Bob Sandage, owner of the Wrecking Bar Brew Pub. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
The Beer Guys are back right after this.
Morgan and Lisa with Your Pie Perimeter here. We'd like to invite you to our store for a beer.
Is there anything better than pizza?
Yep. Brick oven pizza that's made fresh and paired with a cold craft beer.
That's what you get at Your Pie Perimeter, located in the Perimeter Place Shopping Center by Perimeter Mall.
It's the perfect place to relax on the patio with a pint after work or bring the family in.
Follow Your Pie Perimeter on Facebook for all our beer events and specials, including beer tastings that you won't find anywhere else.
That's Your Pie Perimeter, located in Perimeter Place Shopping Center next to Chipotle. Tell them that the Beer Guy sent you.
Hey, it's Aaron, and you know what I hate? When I miss a favorite TV show and forget to DVR it. Don't let this tragic tale happen to you when it comes to Beer Guys Radio. Subscribe to us on demand. It is easy. If you've got iTunes, Stitcher, or any other iOS or Android podcast app, search for us or go to beerguysradio.com, click listen, and you can copy and paste the RSS feed. While you're there, by the way, give us a review. It really helps. That's Beer Guys Radio on demand. Catch it today.
It's Aaron and Tim, the Beer Guys. If you're like us, no lunch or dinner is complete without a pint or two of craft beer.
Which is why Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock is always on our list. Tim, why do they call it Truck and Tap?
Well, the tap part is easy. They have 12 of them. Bottles, too. Not sure what to drink? All of their beer servers are Cicerone certified. And if you got someone who isn't a beer fan, not to worry. Truck and Tap carries wine, mixed drinks, and even handcrafted sodas.
As for the truck part, well, that's when it gets interesting. Truck and Tap features your favorite Atlanta area food trucks daily. That way, you're getting a different menu every day.
Check it out, Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com. Let them know that the Beer Guys sent you.
The Beer Guys Radio Show on the Beer Guys Radio Network. BeerGuysRadio.com. If you really like craft beer, the Stout Brothers Smyrna Beer Market invites you to their store. Not just growlers and craft beer, but everything you need for backyard barbecues and tailgating is available at Stout Brothers. Big Green Egg, accessories, local meats, cheeses, sauces, pickles, and more. If the gang's plans involve your backyard this weekend, you gotta visit the Stout Brothers. Stock up today and get ready for life. It's quite simple. If you really like craft beer, you have to visit the Stout Brothers Smyrna Beer Market in the Smyrna Market Village. Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mundus.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
And welcome back, as the man said, Beer Guys Radio Show. BeerGuysRadio.com is our website. And are you ready, Tim?
I am so ready.
It is time for the Best in Craft Beer Awards 2016.
Dun, 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 dun.
There you go. Get some
good stuff,
good music, and all this kind of stuff. So before we announce the winners, we want to have some caveats, and
we do. So we just want to. I just wanted to mention a little bit about methodology and a few notes on our results here. Yeah. So we ran the survey for about 2 weeks. We ran one for both Alabama and Georgia on the best new beers in each state for 2016, as well as the overall favorites: brewery, brew pub, bottle shop, and beer bars. Yeah. We tried very hard to represent both states as much as possible with a good variety, a good sampling of a large number of beers and breweries. We did receive a few phone calls from both breweries, text messages from consumers and that, because something they felt should have been represented was not. We can assure you that no one was slighted intentionally, and we tried to give a pretty well-rounded sampling of the beers in each state. For the Alabama survey, we left all write-ins, a little smaller market there, and we just left write-ins so people could provide their information there. For the Georgia survey, we received nearly 1,000 responses, as you mentioned a little bit earlier, so we got a really great all-around sampling of Georgia's beer drinkers.
Yeah, I was really impressed by the sampling, so thank you everybody for voting. Appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely. So Alabama, we had a little lighter on the responses, and due to the, as mentioned, due to the smaller market set, we did leave everything as a write-in, just let people in, because there's no way we would have been able to go through 10 categories of 1,000 survey write-in.
Exactly.
So with this, we did say this was for 2016, for new beer releases in 2016. Unfortunately, in the Alabama survey, about 60% of our responses didn't conform to that. They were beers that were everyone's just favorite beer in general, not necessarily with 2016. So with that in mind, some of our Alabama winners are just going to be your favorite beers. So
exactly.
We'll do our best to mention the ones from released this year, but due to the responses we got, we'll present what we have.
There you go.
So unfortunately, this kind of an unfortunate note to mention here. We did have some pretty solid evidence of vote manipulation for both surveys.
Yep.
Where we were almost certain there was some vote manipulation, we tossed those responses out and reported our results based without those responses. Fortunately, it only seemed to affect one category.
Yes.
So
I appreciate the enthusiasm for voting for your favorite beer, but you got to be fair.
Right. So we did have a sign in through Google to take it, but if someone wants to get around those things enough, they will.
Can. But we caught you. That's right.
So anyhow, that's it.
Yes.
That's the methodology and the caveats here, and we're ready to get on with the awards.
All right, well, let's get on to it.
Let's do it.
The first category we have is the best IPA of 2016, and we've got both in Georgia and Alabama. So why don't you go ahead with the Georgia winners?
Georgia?
Yes.
In the number 3 position is Creature Comforts Crescendo.
Nice.
So in our number 2 position, a new brewery in Georgia, Scofflaw's Basement IPA. And in the number 1 position, Three Taverns Night on Ponds.
Ta-da! What a great beer that is.
How about it?
Yes, so congratulations to those guys at Three Taverns.
3 great choices there for sure. And to kick that off, I have got a little Basement IPA right here that I'm going to open up.
Nice.
So,
I love that, too.
How about Alabama, Aaron?
Yeah, we didn't have enough votes to give us 3, so I cut it down to 2, of course. The actual winner of this was Snake Handler from Good People, but since that's been around for a while, it doesn't count. So number 2 was the Avondale Warning Shots, and the number 1 best IPA of 2016 from Alabama is the Big Beach 100 Days IPA. So congratulations to the folks down in the Gulf Coast area for that.
Yeah. It's interesting to look at this stuff, Aaron, with the IPAs. We've got Three Taverns, Night on Ponds, something new and a departure for them, which started out as an experiment in the brewery there. So a new brewery coming in, and Creature Comforts continues to deliver delicious beers.
Yeah, so again, a lot of great IPAs coming along in Georgia, and I'm really happy. And, again, can't say enough good things about Night on Ponds. It's a fantastic beer. A lot of people go searching for some other IPAs. If you haven't had it yet, pick up a 6er. You will not be disappointed with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And our next category, Aaron, in Best Wild or Sour Ale of 2016. With this one, we included all of them in there. There's a lot of delineation, which we've talked about in the past, between kettle sours, lacto soured, true what you'd call classic sour.
We have like 3 shows just on
sure, we could do that easily.
Ones, yeah.
So these are all lumped together, and the results do include some from each of those categories. So in the number 3 position for Georgia's Best Wild Sour Ale of 2016 is Orpheus Atalanta Reserva. In the number 2 position, we have Creature Comforts Athena Paradiso, their tart cherry, raspberry, and cranberry variety. Yep. And in the number 1 position, another win for Three Taverns.
There you go.
With their Rapturous.
And that's a great one, too.
It is.
They just canned that one this year, and it's got one of those crazy cans out there. It's a delicious beer, so I'm glad they won that. Congratulations to all 3. They're all great. Actually.
Very good beers.
Yeah, for Alabama, we've got 3. I kind of separated this third one because it gave me a couple of different ones. Good People has their Funk Farm series. They just started out this week or this year, so I just lumped them all into one. So the Funk Farm series in Alabama was in 3rd place. Blue Pants out of Huntsville, they have the Dry Hop Citra. And then the number 1 vote in Alabama by far, this one blew everyone away, was the Trim Tab Paradise Now, which is their Raspberry Berliner Weiss.
Okay.
It's an older beer, yes, but they just started canning it this year. And like I said, it won about 70% of the votes, so I had to put it in there. So congratulations to Trim Tab. They make some good stuff, too.
Some very good beers from them, absolutely.
Yeah. How about, what's one of my favorite categories, the Best 2016 Stout Imperial Stout.
Stout or Imperial Stout? Yes. So in Georgia, in 3rd place, we have Southern Brewing Company's Bourbon Barrel Aged Imperial Stout, which is one we got to enjoy when Brian Roth came over, was on the show with us. He got to bring that over to us. On 2nd place, Monday night's Georgian Imperial Stout. And in 1st, another one from Creature Comforts with their Existence.
Yeah.
So, and that was a surprise, just based on the discussions throughout Georgia throughout the year from beer drinkers and that. Existence was a super popular beer. So
it definitely was.
And one note on this, one that came out recently that I did get a few questions to why it wasn't on the survey was Helm's Deep from Three Taverns. That's because it was released after our cutoff date for entrance there. So
look for it on the
don't
2017.
forget that one and remember it for your 2017 survey.
Exactly. I think Gravitational Wave was also in that as well from Wild
absolutely.
Heaven. So we had, again, a lot of great categories in there, a lot of great stouts there. In Alabama, we had a couple of good ones, too. And again, if I would have been able to allow all beers, what's your favorite Imperial Stout? El Gordo would have won hands down. But unfortunately, again, it's an older one, so I had to kind of throw those votes out. So coming in at number 2 is the Fairhope Kingslayer. And then the number 1 beer, Stout or Imperial Stout, was, again, Big Beach with their Better Watch Out Stout. So congratulations.
Have you had anything from Big Beach before?
I have not. They're brand new. I've been meaning to contact them. I've been kind of Facebooking them back and forth. I need to get a chance to get down there and check their stuff out.
That's a couple mentions for them, it looks like.
Exactly.
One
so
we need to check out.
A lot of people like them, exactly.
For sure.
So we've got about 2 more minutes left in this
I think we can get one more category in then, right? Before we go through.
We can do that. So.
And our next category is Best New Brewery or Brew Pub.
Yep. A lot of great ones out there, and, Tim's excited. He's very excited about that.
Absolutely. Got choked up.
We had some great breweries, brew pubs open in Georgia over the past year, and really hard to pick. There's 3 great ones in this list.
Absolutely. So for Georgia, Best New Brewery, Brew Pub. Now, for the new one, we combined both brew pubs and breweries. For the overall, we broke those categories out.
Yep.
So combined, Best Georgia Breweries and Brew Pubs, number 3, Torch Top.
Yep.
In the number 2 position, Arches Brewing down in Hapeville.
There you go.
In the number 1 new brewery of 2016 in Georgia is Scofflaw Brewing.
That is, again, not a surprise.
Not
Those
a
guys
surprise,
are making some fantastic stuff out there. Their IPAs, I think, are really on point. And again, they've got some wonderful stuff out there. So.
They do. I've enjoyed their stouts and their IPAs that they've done. Here in a couple weeks, they're releasing a barrel-aged version of one of their stouts. So I'm very excited to see what else comes from those guys.
Yeah, they've only been on the line for about 6 months or so, and they've really just come on really strong, and I've been impressed with what they've been doing. So
absolutely.
So that's great. Over in Alabama, we've got 2 for Best New Brewery and Brew Pub, which is Green Bus Brewing, which is number 2. And also, there he goes, number 1 again.
Another one?
A lot of fans. The
Big Beach. Look at that.
So Big Beach is taking home a lot of these awards, so good for them. Maybe they get a lot of fans out there, and they encourage them to vote. But
awesome.
But that will work. So we're going to go ahead and take a break right now. Come back. We've got a lot more categories to go over. We're looking at the Best in Beer 2016 for Georgia and Alabama. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show, beerguysradio.com, and on the Instagram, Facebook, and Twitters as well. We'll be back right after this.
This is Glenn Golden from Jailhouse Brewing Company. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
The Beer Guys are back right after this.
There is something in the air in Kennesaw. I'm sure you've noticed it. It is the sweet, sweet smell of barbecue permeating from The Nest, a new barbecue and beer restaurant in K-Town. The Nest is your new restaurant if you really love barbecue. Ribs, brisket, chicken, oh my. Did we mention the bar? The Nest of Kennesaw offers 49 taps of craft beer and an amazing bottle list as well. It's quite simple. If you really like barbecue and craft beer, you have to visit The Nest. Barbecue and beer in Kennesaw, near historic downtown on Cherokee.
It's Aaron and Tim, the Beer Guys. If you're like us, no lunch or dinner is complete without a pint or 2 of craft beer.
Which is why Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock is always on our list. Tim, why do they call it Truck and Tap?
Well, the tap part is easy. They have 12 of them. Bottles, too. Not sure what to drink? All of their beer servers are Cicerone certified. And if you got someone who isn't a beer fan, not to worry. Truck and Tap carries wine, mixed drinks, and even handcrafted sodas.
As for the truck part, well, that's when it gets interesting. Truck and Tap features your favorite Atlanta area food trucks daily. That way, you're getting a different menu every day.
Check it out, Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com. Let them know that the Beer Guys sent you.
Hey, this is Aaron. I want to thank you so much for listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We've got some really awesome things that are coming soon that will help us engage with you some more. We're not going to lie to you, though. It takes time, effort, and money to produce this show every week. So if you'd like to be part of the Beer Guys family, we would love your help. Head to patreon.com/beerguys to become a sponsor. We're not going to beg. Okay, maybe just a little bit. But hey, we've got some great swag for those who become a sponsor, and you'll be among the first to know about the great things that are coming to the Beer Guys universe. Again, that's patreon.com, patreon.com/beerguys, or you can go to beerguysradio.com and click the sponsor link. We thank you for your support, and cheers.
Morgan and Lisa with Your Pie Perimeter here. We'd like to invite you to our store for a beer.
Is there anything better than pizza?
Yep. brick oven pizza that's made fresh and paired with a cold craft beer.
That's what you get at Your Pie Perimeter, located in the Perimeter Place Shopping Center by Perimeter Mall.
It's the perfect place to relax on the patio with a pint after work or bring the family in.
Follow Your Pie Perimeter on Facebook for all our beer events and specials, including beer tastings that you won't find anywhere else.
That's Your Pie Perimeter, located in Perimeter Place Shopping Center next to Chipotle. Tell them that the beer guy sent you.
Ahoy there, mateys! Hunting whales? We've got you covered with Tim's Whale of the Week.
Yar! With the new year, we need some new whales, Tim. What do we have?
We do. So we got a couple this week that you want to keep an eye out for. Orpheus, Truth, Body, Soul, Double IPA, can release at the brewery on Thursday. So go check that out. Pick you up some cans. And the highly anticipated Woodlands from Sweetwater opens on the 6th. And that is, they're also going to do their Through the Brambles
easy for you
bottle
to say.
release
Yes.
there. It is. Very easy. So we got a preview sample of that beer. It was fantastic.
Excellent, yeah.
Looking forward to going there. The Woodlands is a gorgeous facility. New beer from them, lots of good stuff in the works. So
yeah, it really
check
is.
It out.
It was a beautiful facility, and we'll be there next week as well, kind of checking it out. But yeah, some great things going over in Sweetwater. So good for them. So
absolutely. So that's what I got for this week.
Excellent. So let's get back into it.
We're
doing the best in Georgia and Alabama beer of 2016, and we've gone through several categories.
We have
one of my favorite categories is the Best Beer Festival of 2016. So,
well, I've got good news for you, Aaron, because that's the category we're going to cover right now.
That is awesome.
Mind blown. So, over in Georgia, we had a lot of great beer fests.
Yeah, we did.
So, that's something that I think was a tough one for me to pick, but there were a few that stood out. So, the number 3 best beer fest in Georgia, according to Georgia Beer Drinkers, is the Classic City Brew Fest, one of Owen Ogletree's festivals over in Athens.
Yep, it's a great one.
I did attend that one this year, and it's a fantastic event. Just an excellent event. The number 2 festival was the Sweetwater 420 Fest. Now, I admit I was a little surprised as a beer fest that was mentioned, but it is a huge festival. A lot of people go and enjoy it. So cool to see them on the list there with that.
Good for them.
And the number 1 didn't surprise me. It was my favorite festival of the year, was the Wrecking Bar Strong Beer Fest.
Mine too.
So,
you guys told me to go, and I just was dumb and forgot to buy tickets, and so I was lucky to get them from the Dry County guys, and I was not disappointed. That was an amazing beer festival.
That's when they say this is one you don't want to miss. You say a lot. That's one you don't want to miss.
No.
It's just if you're a beer fan, you like the stronger beers and that's really one you need to see. There. Bob and the whole team there at Wrecking Bar puts on an excellent event, great venue. Well attended, but not packed.
Yeah,
and
that
just
was nice.
amazing beers.
Yeah, it wasn't just a complete. You weren't packed in there. They had enough little venues and nooks and crannies to go in, and I just really had a great time, enjoyed myself, and just like I said, some fantastic beers across the board. In Alabama, we had 3 that made the list. First of all, at number 3, the Top of the Hops Beer Fest. Number 2 was one that we attended, the Rocket City Brew Fest over in Huntsville. That was a good time that we had that well. And coming in at number 1 in Alabama, no surprise here as well, the Magic City Brew Fest in Birmingham.
And
as
I
well.
actually attended that one
too.
You went to Rocket City and Magic City, didn't you,
we went to
Becky?
both this year.
Yeah. So
I went to Magic City, but it was the one in Atlanta.
Yes.
That's a different festival.
one, but still a festival. Great time. If that had been on the list, it would have got a lot of votes.
Probably would have, exactly.
Yes.
No.
But some great events.
Yeah.
You know what? Personal preference, I really enjoy the Rocket City Brew Fest.
Me too.
It could have been, we were doing Alabama launch, going to the festival and just having a good time over there. But very cool event. Magic City was excellent as well. So I enjoyed both of those.
And you know what? I mean, if you are a Georgia person, do yourself a favor and go to one of those Alabama events, because not only do they have Alabama beer, but they'll also have a lot of beers that we don't get in Georgia as well, from other cities and other states. And I was really enjoyable. I really had a good time.
I don't think a lot of people, I know some people from Atlanta do Birmingham as a weekender trip and that. You don't hear as many people mention Huntsville, but Huntsville's a cool little town.
It is.
And there's a lot of stuff, beer-wise and non-beer-wise. They got spaceships there.
Exactly.
They got space shuttles, rockets, all of that. Lots of beer. German influence there, German food and that. So it's a really great little town, perfect for a weekend.
Yeah, it's always people from Germany coming over and changing their beer.
That's right, Germany. So
what's wrong with the beer we got?
That's right.
All right, now this one actually is going to be our next category is a big one for us as well. Best brewery overall. This kind of is one of the big daddies of our things.
This is it.
I was really impressed with the results. So what have we got in Georgia?
In Georgia, we have one of our new breweries coming in as the 3rd best. Arches Brewing
Okay.
as the overall best in Georgia. In the number 2 spot, 3 taverns. I think that's 3 for them on this list so far. 3 taverns, well represented here. In the number 1 best overall brewery in Georgia, our friends in Athens, Creature Comfort.
Ta-da! No real surprises for the top 2. If I had to pick 1, 2, I probably would pick those 2 as well.
Yeah.
Congratulations to those guys. I mean, everyone's done a great job. I really... we're really blessed here in Georgia to have a great variety of good local craft brewers.
Absolutely.
Hardly anyone, would be something that couldn't compete anywhere in the country.
And Arches is obviously making an impression.
Yeah,
and, we've said before when we've tried them, they make very, very good beers. Excellent for their styles, just real tasty stuff. So cool to see them land on this list.
Yeah, so congratulations to all 3. So in Alabama, we had a tie for number 2. So Fairhope and Straight to Ale out of Huntsville. Those guys both were in second place. Followed by no real surprises here. Again, Alabama, number 1, a Good People Brewing Company. They continue to be the oldest craft brewery in Alabama and the biggest, and they continue to pump out some
always
really good
get
stuff.
a lot of love there. Good beers
and
from
look for
good
them,
people.
And look for them in Georgia. They're coming to Georgia here in a couple of weeks, so you'll start seeing their stuff as well. They'll be, I believe, the 3rd brewery out of Alabama to start distro in Georgia. So yes, get your snake handler. You don't have to go across the border.
There you go.
That's it.
I can never find it when I do the border run. So
I know, exactly. So
maybe we'll see it here.
Exactly. Brew pubs, another important part of the Georgia beer scene and Alabama beer scene. That's our next category. What do we got?
In Georgia, we have in the number 3 position up in Cumming, Georgia, Cherry Street Brewing Co.
Nice.
So they have very passionate fans, so not a surprise to see that one. And great beers, too. Nick, the whole team there is good people. Number 2, one of our new ones, Torch Top, is the number 2 best brew pub in Georgia. And number 1, the crew over at Wrecking Bar.
Yeah. So again, no surprises on that list either.
Right.
Wrecking Bar just makes some great stuff. I mean, all 3 of them make some fantastic stuff.
They do.
5 Seasons, all those guys, Slice and Pine. I mean, there's just a ton of great brew pubs around here too.
Max Loggers, Hop Alley.
All those guys.
Reading this list, I'm like, wow, we do have some good stuff here.
Yeah, we do, and there's more coming down the pipe too.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about that later in the show. In Alabama, we've got 3 as well. Coming in at number 3 was the Chattahoochee Brewing Company out of Phoenix City, Alabama. Rail Yard Brewing Company was number 2, and then number 1, again, no big surprise here, but Below the Radar out of Huntsville. So we went there
cool
too.
Place.
It's a nice little place, and got a good tap list and some of their own stuff on tap as well.
And just to throw out as we're moving along here, I have opened another beer for us, and we are currently enjoying a can of Creature Comfort's Koko Bunny.
Yeah, and here's the funny thing, Tim. Like I said, I had my kidney stones, and I'm on a bunch of different medications.
Right.
I'm not 100% sure I should be drinking at this point, but I am. And I tell you, my palate is messed up from this. I think it's from the medication. The Koko Bunny, though, I'm good with. The other ones just were not sitting well with me. It was very strange. So
messing up your beer palate.
It is. So I'll just keep drinking more of the Koko
Stupid
Bunny.
kidney stones. All the pain's one thing, but when you mess up your beer palate, now it's getting serious.
Exactly, and that's when I started getting serious. Though.
Yeah.
So beer bar. We're going to talk about overall beer bar. What do you got in Georgia?
In Georgia, number 3, I'm going to tell you, coming from beer folks, this did surprise me.
Yeah.
But when I thought about it, makes sense because our survey went out to almost 1,000 people.
Exactly.
So we've got a huge sampling here. Number 3 best overall beer bar in Georgia is Taco Mac.
Mm-hmm.
And this is no location specified. Some people specified this location or that location. We didn't count that.
Yeah.
Taco Mac came in 3rd for no location if they just said Taco Mac.
Okay.
And they do have a huge beer selection and a lot of locations.
Yeah, they do.
So we got that. Number 2, I don't think number 2 and 1 are going to surprise a lot of people.
No, I don't think so either.
In the number 2 position is Brick Store Pub.
Yep.
And the number 1 beer bar in Georgia is the Porter Beer Bar.
Yeah, again, no surprises there. Some fantastic. Like I said, you could probably put those 2 neck and neck, along with the Argosy and some other ones out there. That's just some fantastic beer bars out there. And we, again, do not lack in great beer bars in Georgia, so we should be blessed. In Alabama, we have the Old Town Beer Exchange in Huntsville. It's kind of a beer bar / bottle shop, but a lot of people put that down for beer bar, so I'm going to go with that. Down in South Alabama, I'm going to have to take a trip down to the Gulf Coast. Luna's, they've got a nice little beer bar there with a great tap list. And number 1 on our list, former guests on the show, came all the way over here from Birmingham to talk to us in Alabama.
Fought a flat tire.
Yes. That's right. Yeah. But so J. Clyde was the number 1 overall beer bar in Birmingham. So congratulations to J. Clyde. Another great beer bar, one of the original ones out there. So
very cool. Good. Yeah, for best brew pub, Aaron, on the votes, I got a ton of people mentioning beer bars.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them. So, there were obviously some people responding that didn't, quite get brew pub as a place that brews.
Yes. And so for quick, we got a couple of seconds here. Definition of between the 2.
So, Beer Bar is going to be a place that serves beer. A brew pub is going to brew their own beer there.
There you go.
Brick Store is a beer bar. Torch Top, Max Lager's is a brew pub because they brew their beer on site.
Yeah, and they may have some other taps on there, but for the most part, they'll also have their own stuff.
They will brew their own
site.
beer. Exactly.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break right now. We have one more category to go. Actually, 2 more categories to go.
2 more.
We
do. That's right. Yes.
We'll be back right after this to listen to the Beer Guys Radio Show. BeerGuysRadio.com, the best of Georgia and Alabama beer 2016. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, this is Nick Knock, head brewer, Sweetwater Brewing Company. Welcome to the Beer Guys.
The Beer Guys are back right after this.
Hey, it's Aaron, and you're a fan of craft beer, right? And you want to know more about what's going on in the craft beer scene in Georgia? Thanks to the hard work from my co-host Tim, we are giving you the lowdown on the craft beer scene every week right in your inbox. Go to beerguysradio.com and sign up for This Week in Georgia Beer right at the top. We won't spam you, promise, or sell your name. Just good beer info every week. Plus, you can win great prizes from us. This Week in Georgia Beer, sign up today. beerguysradio.com. Hey, it's Aaron. I want to give a quick shout out to our newest sponsor. It's HopSpot Beer Tours of Atlanta. Now, there's a lot of tours out there, but what makes HopSpot Beer Tours different? Well, you get exposure. There's more to Atlanta craft beer than just breweries. A HopSpot Beer Tour gives you the who, what, where, and when to craft beer right here in Atlanta and the state. Education. Whether you're a native, a transplant, or a visitor, you'll always learn something new. And connection. HopSpot connects you to guests, local breweries, and businesses to create those lasting relationships. We invite you to check out what makes HopSpot different. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Twitter and Instagram at HopSpotATL, and of course, visit HopSpotBeerTours.com. Use promo code BeerGuys10 and receive 10% off your order. HopSpot Beer Tours. Hop on, get connected. That's HopSpotBeerTours.com. Hey, it's Aaron, and you know what I hate? When I miss a favorite TV show and forget to DVR it. Don't let this tragic tale happen to you when it comes to Beer Guys Radio. Subscribe to us on demand. It is easy. If you've got iTunes, Stitcher, or any other iOS or Android podcast app, search for us, or go to beerguysradio.com, click listen, and you can copy and paste the RSS feed. While you're there, by the way, give us a review. It really helps. That's Beer Guys Radio on demand. Catch it today.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
What in tarnation?
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're at beerguysradio.com. You can check us out on the web. We're streaming iTunes, and every Saturday on Atlanta's AM 920 The Answer. Check us out. So we are on with our Best of Beer 2016 survey.
We are.
And we're on to the best bottle shop, Aaron.
Definitely.
So let me tell you about what the best of Georgia is here.
Okay.
So in the number 3 position, we have a little bottle shop up in Marietta, Sprayberry Bottle Shop. So it's a good one. Bridge up there runs it very well. Very serious about craft beer.
Yep.
Number 2 position, Yeah. And in the number 1 position, Hop City.
Again, no surprise in all 3 of those. I think they all do a great job with their stuff. And, in Alabama, it's kind of funny. We have a similar type of a thing. One is Maggie's Bottle and Tail. I hesitate to ask what the tail is, but it's an actual bottle shop. It's down there again, the
Maybe
Gulf Shores
area.
area.
Crawfish or lobster.
They
or
might.
something.
That might be. You know what? A bottle shop that sells crawfish. That would. Yeah. I'm definitely down for that. Also, Lusa Brews in Tuscaloosa with the number 2 spot. And number 1, no surprise again, Hop City, Birmingham.
Sure enough.
The overwhelming choice there. So Craig and those guys at Hop City do a great job.
They do a
with
great
their
job.
beer.
They really do.
So,
absolutely.
So we have one more category, by the way.
I'm very excited about this one, Aaron.
This one was the tough one for us to do. It was category was called the Best Beer Show that broadcasts from 1 to 2 p.m. every Saturday afternoon.
That's right.
And the winner is?
In the number 3 position.
Yes.
Beer Guys Radio.
Wow.
In the number 2 position, Beer Guys Radio.
Okay.
And the number 1 best beer show that broadcasts every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. is Totally Beer Guys Radio. Yes.
Oh, that's
We're
awesome.
honored. Thank you so much for voting us the best beer show that broadcasts every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m.
Right.
We appreciate that.
Hey, this is the last show of 2016, and we're heading into 2017. So, as everyone does, we like to review a little bit about what we've done over the year and what we're looking forward to. So, let's get into a little bit of conversation of that. We've had 53 shows. This is our 53rd show.
So we're officially a year old, if you look at it that, with 53 episodes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And we've had just a number of interviews. We've had more than 50 interviews, not only for us, but for our sister project BGR, our podcast that we do with more national brands. What were some of the favorite interviews that you had?
I have a lot. When I was thinking about this questionnaire, and it was really tough to decide. So one thing I thought was just super cool as a new show is when we interviewed Adam Carolla.
Yeah.
To talk about his beer. Not Georgia beer, but we had the opportunity and we went for it because it was Adam.
It was
Carolla.
a real celebrity, exactly.
So we did that. So that was a lot of fun. One of our Project BGR interviews, Jamil Zaina's chef. He's just, historical in the homebrew world. Full of knowledge, great stuff. So that was a lot of fun to sit down and talk with him.
You totally geeked out with him, and I just kind of sat back and let you take control
so
of that
was
one.
a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of fun with Nick Knock from Sweetwater, Jonathan Baker from Monday Night, who tried to get us. Jonathan brought in a huge plastic bin full of beer to tape a 1-hour show.
And it was like 12%. It was like
you
all
guys
got to
try
beers.
this.
Yeah,
so we had a blast with him.
Yep.
Brian Roth. Had a lot of fun talking. He's just such a super nice guy. Mm-hmm. So that's, like I said, all were great. Those were a few that stand out to me as really fun interviews.
Definitely. I had some great interviews as well. I really enjoyed talking to Craig Torres from Hop City again. He's got a lot of knowledge. Really great guy. Knows a lot of his stuff. Spike Bukowski was fun too from Terrapin. It was really kind of good to get an introduction to him and kind of see where their thought process was. Of course, he had the big buyout, from Miller earlier in the year, and that was kind of big news here in Georgia. Ron Smith and Mario Boyle, the Atlanta history beer people. As a history nerd, I had a really great time with them. And also a great time with a couple of other people, of course, with Brian Purcell and Joran van Hinderacker from Three Taverns.
Right.
Great job with those guys. And Scott Hedin from Burn Hickory.
Scott was a trip.
He's always a trip. He's awesome. We're going to have him on in a couple more weeks, and it should be a fun time. But just let Scott go, and he goes. He's kind of the mad
We don't
scientist.
even need to be here for that show.
No, I'll just open up the microphone and let him talk for about 40 minutes. It'll be fine. So, it'll be good. So like I said, over the year, a lot of great things have been going on. I personally want to thank you, Tim. You've done a fantastic job working with Beer Guys Radio, and really a fantastic job educating me. When I first came here about a year ago, I liked craft beer. I was kind of adventurous, but I didn't know 1%.
It's a whole new world,
but it is.
So.
You opened up a whole new world to me, Tim, and I appreciate it. My wife, my bank account may not appreciate it as much as I do.
They'll get over it,
but they'll have to get over it, exactly.
Yeah, and thank you, Aaron. The radio world's new to me, so you've taught me a lot about radio. Had a great time giving me. I love to talk about beer.
Yeah.
So being able to get my voice out and talk about beer, it's a wonderful thing.
It is a wonderful thing. And speaking of wonderful things, what were some of the trends that you saw in 2016?
It was interesting when you were mentioning the trends that the craft beer world was mentioned, because actually I seem to mirror a lot. And this is based on, we've talked to, as you mentioned, the 60-plus brewers throughout the year, just seeing what's out there, seeing what's being released. So IPA trend will continue, but we're seeing a shift in the popularity of what type of IPA people are enjoying.
Yeah.
So, we're going away from the super bitter West Coast style to the hazy, juicy, big, lower IBU, heavier on the juicy hop side, what they call the Northeast style IPA. So I think we'll continue to see more of those. There was a discussion online the other day where people were saying they never saw any of them around them. So based on what we hear from the industry and what we see from our local brewers, I would have assumed they were everywhere out there, but there's still a lot of places they can go, and I think they will do that. So, continue IPAs, but a continued shift in the styles that are popular. We're going to continue to see more lagers, Pilsner beers, and that.
Yeah.
Probably 90% of the brewers that we talked to when we said, what's something you'd like people to appreciate more? What's a beer that you make that people don't give enough credit? A lot of times they said, we make a Pilsner that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Something like that. So I think we'll see more of those. And again, sessionable hoppy beers. We saw a lot of that. Not just the sessionable hoppy beers, we'll see more of those. But the lighter tart beers like Berliners and that with lower ABV. So a crafty beer that you can drink like it's a macro beer, a 4% or
like a Goza or something that's got a low ABV, but you can crush a few of them.
So I think that's what we'll see. How about you, Aaron?
Yeah, and I think I'm right there with you. The Northeast IPA thing was big for me. We went to the Great American Beer Fest back in October. It was a big eye opener for me because it was the first chance I've really had to have fresh Pliny the Elder on draft in Denver, and it took my palate a few swigs before I remembered. Oh yeah, this is a West Coast beer.
Yeah.
Where as of a year or 2 years ago, that's all I drank was West Coast piney bitter beers. but we've kind of made that trend back into the Northeast IPA, the juicy stuff. It kind of shocks you back a little bit.
You know, thinking of that, looking back a year ago when we started the show, it was common for me to say, no, I'm not an IPA guy, but, this or that. And I've really enjoyed a lot more IPAs, and I think the same holds true for you in sour beers.
Sours,
right?
yeah. You couldn't dare me to drink a sour beer. And now I'm really, really enjoying them. In fact, some of my favorite beers of the year were a couple of sour beers we'll get into in a little bit, too. So,
awesome.
But, and I saw the same thing. We like to call them drinking beers, ones that are low ABV, that 4 or 5% variety that you can have 2 or 3 of them, kind of like yard work type of beers, pilsners, pale ales, session beers, those types of things. I like to see a lot more of that. And, I really enjoyed the variety of coffee stouts that are out there, too. I'm seeing a ton of them, and, I'm really enjoying them, too. So, speaking of, what are some of the beers that you really enjoy drinking, Tim?
So, as I was thinking about this, in the beers that I drank repeatedly throughout the year. So, and I'll admit, a lot of times I'm very... try what's new, go through a 6-pack of it, get what else is new. And we have a pretty consistent flood of beers to where that's possible. But one beer I revisited several times was Creature Comfort's Epicurious.
Yeah, interesting.
Just because, go out to a restaurant, having a meal or something, I don't like my beer to overpower my food or vice versa. Epicurious is a beer that I can drink. I don't overthink the flavor profile. It's clean, it's refreshing, palate cleansing. Pairs well with food, which I believe was their exact goal. So that was one I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Another one for me, Helm's Deep. One that's
great.
The recent release.
So good. Yeah.
Just phenomenal. Southern Brewing Companies, their beers, their stouts and that, but really they're foeder beers. Their sours and wilds, the stuff they're doing there. The raspberry foeder beer. I think it was called Strawberry Cecil. I could be mistaken, but I think that's what it's called. Just the stuff they're doing is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So, and Burnt Hickory recent release, but one that was on my mind because I've had it. Their Courageous Conductor. This latest batch is really good. So I enjoyed that quite a lot.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I enjoyed, of course, my go-to beer really throughout the entire year has been Creature Comfort's Tropicalia. I really enjoyed that one. I've tried to keep at least a 6 of that in my freezer, refrigerator. I always love that. Monday night's Garage Series really kind of stood out for me.
Yeah.
We were lucky enough to kind of get a lot of those out there. Their 003, which is their Imperial Stout, which is Asa McAllen barrels. That was one of the best things I've put in my mouth all year long. It was such I know, he's looking at me like I totally said something wrong. Maybe I'll call it the medication that I said that on. No, but it was absolutely fantastic. A Cherry Street Stain beer. You introduced me to that earlier this year. So good. And a Wild Heavens Emmylou sour beer. Really, really fantastic. And then one that I had from Florida that I really thought was one of the best things I've had also. Angry Chair's German Chocolate Cupcake Stout.
Yeah.
Holy mackerel.
Imperial.
The Imperial. The Imperial.
Right. As we're going through these and you're saying, like what were some of my favorite interviews, my favorite beers. When I hear your list, I'm going, oh yeah. For all those. Yeah. The interviews and the beers too. That Imperial Cupcake was phenomenal. Dame beer, I think my comment was, this is what a beer should be. Yeah. This is the complexity, the smoothness, the flavor, everything. That's what it should be. So
absolutely
great
perfect.
choices, Aaron.
Thank you. I appreciate you too.
Yeah,
Tim.
thank you.
Very good. Yeah, really quick. Let's just talk about some things that we're looking forward to in 2017. For my list that I had really quick for next year, hopefully new beer laws.
Right.
We need to get beer to go on site, premise distribution, some self distribution going in here in Georgia to keep things going and moving forward. New breweries and brew pubs. We've already heard some things, some rumblings about new words. Mitch Steele, of course, from Stone Brewing, opening up a brew pub here in Atlanta. A good word from the folks behind the Brick Store Pub, a Monday Night Sour facility. A lot of new things going, and really excited about that next year.
And there's others that are in the works too.
Exactly.
I'm actually we kept a running list this year of the new breweries and brew pubs planned for Georgia. We're working on the 2017 version of that now. I'm just trying to get all the info. There's a lot going on out there.
It's a lot of stuff to do with, exactly. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and hit the hot list while we have it.
Time for the hot list. The beer guys have the scoop on what you need to know for next week.
That's hot.
So it's New Year's Eve.
It is.
There was a literal boatload of events in Alabama. Literally just a boatload of events.
Did you know that literally has been put in the dictionary now to mean figuratively?
Yes, and I think it's horrible.
It literally means figuratively.
Yes,
now. Terrible.
Yes,
terrible.
I literally killed myself on that thing. I'm like,
that's
no, you
right.
didn't. No, you didn't. Exactly.
Well, they did now.
They did now. That's right.
Thanks for nothing, Websters.
So check out beerguysradio.com for the list of all the events going on tonight in Alabama. Oscar Blues, Hop City, Birmingham on Wednesday at 5 p.m. They're going to have a tasting there. And if you missed Bell's Black Notes and more, head to Madison, Alabama Alabama's Wish You Were Beer at 6 p.m. on Thursday. They're going to have a tasting of, again, Black Note and some different beers as well. And Stem and Stein in Madison on Friday, going to have Moody Tongue, a new brewery coming into Alabama there. Also some second self-tasting as well. So folks from here in Atlanta going to get that too.
Same in Georgia, Aaron, with the New Year's Eve events. There's just a ton of them. Check out our website, or if you get the Week in Georgia beer, you'll have the list there. But there's a lot of stuff going on. Tomorrow there's a New Year's Day celebration with Service Brewing at the Gray in Savannah, and you can check that out if you still can stand up straight there on New Year's Day if you like getting out. So on Wednesday, the first trivia of 2017 will be at Your Pie Perimeter. They'll have drink specials, plus this is going to be the kickoff of their Creature Comforts feature, and they'll also be involved in the Get Comfortable program where you can drink beer and do good and help support charities there. Okay. So on Thursday is the Truth Body Soul can release at Orpheus Brewing, which is their double IPA they previewed at their second anniversary, tweaked a little bit going into cans.
Nice.
So they'll do the brewer release on that. On Friday, Sweetwater, the Woodlands grand opening and release of Through the Brambles, which is a blackberry sour beer. Very good stuff. And next Saturday, just to give you a little heads up on that, Eventide's anniversary party is going to be going on.
Okay.
So, check it out.
What's our giveaway to give away?
We have a giveaway to give away. And our winner this week is Jim Suber.
Nice.
Jim, thank you so much for subscribing to This Week in Georgia Beer. Drop us an email to beerguys@beerguysradio.com, and we'll get your goodies to you.
Definitely. And if you want to be in on the goodness of the giveaways to give away, just head over to beerguysradio.com. Sign up for This Week in Georgia Beer, and we'll pull your name from a pool of those people, and you could be a winner. You'll also get some awesome information from Tim about what's going on during the week in Georgia Beer. So it's about that time. It's a new year. We're going to say goodbye and see you back in next year.
Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you for tuning in with us throughout
2016.
Thank you for tuning in with us throughout 2016.
There you go. We've got a new year, and it's going to be awesome. We're going to kick off the new year with the folks from Reformation Brewing. They'll come in the studio next week, too. So thanks for listening. Check us out at beerguysradio.com and on the socials. Don't forget to drink local. Cheers. Happy New Year.
Thanks for listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're on demand via iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. Always online at beerguysradio.com. Aaron and Tim are back next week with more about the amazing world of craft beer. Cheers.